Hi everyone, I'm here with Remy today. Welcome back to Cat Whisker, my channel. To start off, I am sketching a little Halloween card that I thought of making earlier today at work. But even before that, I want to thank my family and friends and anybody that watched my first YouTube video. It was really fun to make, and I did notice like the audio mishap in that, but it's okay. I'm learning. This is my first time doing all this stuff. So today I am filming with my Canon R50 and just doing no audio on that and hanging out with my iPad, Apple Pencil, and Remy, and doing this Halloween card. And afterward, that is when I'm recording my audio and just a little voiceover over everything that I'm doing today. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about my process and just live updates if we need to. And yeah. So as you saw, I opened up a canvas. It's just a good note to do 300 dots per inch for each of your canvases. So I am doing a 5 by 7 inch to kind of do it like a seasonal card that you could stand up and write in. And so this was 5 by 7 inches and then 300 dots per inch. And so I set that up, and I also set up my canvases in CMYK in case I ever want to print them with a printer that runs in CMYK. I've never printed anything of my art before, so I don't know how it'll turn out, but I just kind of do it preemptively to make sure the colors turn out okay. And the idea that I had was originally like for kitties, like whether they're siblings or friends or cousins or whatever, or just like randoms hanging out together, going trick-or-treating. But I ended up just doing 3. And in my head, they were wearing costumes or masks or something like that. But I kind of simplified it for myself. And all of them are kind of like prancing around. They're excited to trick-or-treat on Halloween night. Each of them have their own personal little kind of bag, like a treat bag. And my idea that I'm sketching out right now with a little colored pencil brush is that they're walking together trick-or-treating outside of, I think this is their like first house of the night, so they're super excited. They're on the sidewalk, the moon's gonna be out, the sun, the light from the moon and the stars, guide their way. So it's a little bit different than how nighttime works during real Halloween. I feel like the sun doesn't go down until 8 p.m. So when the kids are out at 5 p.m., the sun's still out, but it's safe, it's good. Right now I'm drawing the kind of steps to the door, and while I was drawing this, I was like, do I want to make this creepy? Do I want to make it get cute? And ultimately I just kind of went with cute and kind of the traditional Halloween sense, like pumpkins, little ghosts, nighttime, trick-or-treating, treats, all that stuff. So the cats, I kind of made, as you saw, I kind of made one like to go off of and change each one individually to give a different bag, different whiskers, a different little tail. Each one of them is like has a little bit of personality. Like the first one is super excited to get to the door because they're in front, and then the last one is a little more reserved and a little more shy. And right now I'm adding a tree. And even with the tree, I was like, do I want to make this creepy? Do I want it to have leaves? Like, what is, like, we know the time of the year, but like, where is this going to be? If it's in Texas, like usually it's going to have leaves. And then this adult cat was a little curious. At first I was like, should it be one of their moms? Like, it's going to be a dad? Is it just like a random cat that they're showing up at this person's house? But they're holding out the treats and they're ready to get started for the night. When I am sketching out my drafts, I will use the colored colored pencil brush, like I said, and I'll use different colors to note the different layers that I'm going to have, the different details, and also like if I make changes like I did in the cats, like where their hands are, or if their tail is going to be a little longer or shorter, I'll note that with different colors. But after that, I will get started with lining. I really like to line my art. It just makes it a lot easier for me to color and visualize where everything's going to be with color. It just makes it so much easier for me. Of course, I love art that doesn't have lining so much, but it's just a lot harder for me to visualize and draw out myself. So I'm lining everything with a monoline brush, just a classic brush in Procreate. I use that at 10 point size, so it's all kind of uniform. And I'm going over in a second layer over all the colored pencil. All right, so I'm finishing those cats. Again, with the cats too, because their arms kind of go under and over the different bags and are kind of over their body, I also do the arms in a different layer so that I can erase underneath those things as well, so it doesn't get too messy. Because once you kind of are lining over each of your things, it gets really annoying to go back and erase each little particle. It can be done, but it's just extremely annoying. That's also why I like line art so much, is because it's so much easier to clean up as long as you're using your layers correctly. And then I fixed up his little leg there. I kind of wanted it to be on the outside of the bag instead of in front of. And here, I think I realized that I want to have more like colored pencil, like a little more detail in the piece than all line art. Of course, like the bigger things like the bodies of the cats, the sidewalk, the house, like the outline of the moon later, I want to have line art. But the faces, the branches, even the lines in the windows, I end up wanting it to just be like colored pencil, like more freeform. So I end up erasing it. I'm finishing up the house here. It's kind of like a little Tudor home, like my dream home. And do some nice curved windows, a nice big curved wooden door. This lady has got a nice house. I really like it. And some nice steps up to the door. And this house is like right on the sidewalk. I didn't really want to include any more detail than that. But you can see her her door is ajar. It's like all the way open, and she's ready to give these kids all of the candy they want. I just love adding the cat's whiskers. It's so cute. Even the mom gets them. And then she's got the big bowl, which I'll add candy to later. And we're going to take a break because Mr. Remy came back. He was away to take a nap and eat his dinner. But if you have cats, you understand that they like to mirror and they want to be in your space, especially if you're doing work that you feel is important or your hobbies. But he's going to hang out for a little bit. And you're going to see that I get really annoyed with him because he really wants to hang out and just be cuddled and be pet. But he ends up just getting in the way. But for now, you'll be able to see him be cute. All right, on to coloring. For coloring, I also use a monoline brush, and I have not talked about it, but I like using color palettes so that my art feels, to me, like it's more put together. Like, if you look at all the pieces of my art, when you look them all together, it looks like something's going on there. Real nice. Okay, of course, Remy's messing things up, but he'll go away in a second. Anyway, I'm coloring with the monoline brush, and I just do every big piece of outline in a different layer so that I can just keep layering like painting, instead of having to go through each individual line and color everything in. Because that would, it would be more perfected. Like, I wouldn't have to go back and fix everything like I do later. But it is more time consuming. So here you can see I'm just coloring in big blocks. I have to trace a bit so that obviously the program knows where I want the color to be filled. But other than that, I don't have to move my pen around too much. As you can see, I'm going through different like color palettes that I have. These color palettes I pull from different art that I have made that I really like, and also ones that other people have made, so that I can practice using their colors and see how they work together. Like in my first video, I mentioned how one of my favorite artists on YouTube is Paloma the Peach. And so I pulled one of her art pieces and pulled the colors from her piece to practice like how she uses her colors together, how she likes to shade, and do like different tones and stuff. So I still have that saved on my Procreate app. Alrighty, keep coloring. We're doing the door, and I see that brown spot that's like sticking out like a sore thumb. I ended up erasing it eventually. But again, I'm doing each portion by itself. The sidewalk by itself, the door by itself, even the frame by itself. So everything can overlap. I am getting started on coloring the kitties, which is my favorite part because there are so many different types of colored and patterned cats. So I decided to make the adult one an orange cat, and it's super cute. I end up adding some orange striping on this adult cat, and I decided to do a bright green Halloween trick-or-treat bowl. While I'm recording this, my cats are sleeping to the side, so I also took inspiration from them and like the way their stripes lay out, their coloring. Remy is gray, so I end up doing a gray cat here, and he has some like dark gray coloring and like stripes on him, as well as like spots on his belly. So yeah, I ended up doing that. And today actually, I got to leave work early and like made up some time, using some holiday hours that I have left over. And it was really nice to just come home and relax, and, like take a shower, like sit at my desk and get started on making this video and making this piece, because I'm trying to make at least 3 pieces of art a week. Whether it's a sticker, a little art print, or a seasonal card, or a bookmark, just anything that I can make that can make one thing, if that makes sense. I just want to complete pieces that I feel proud of, and practice kind of the style that I want to put off. Oh my gosh, this part's annoying. I don't know what's happening while I'm trying to fill that. Anyway, it gets done. I'm liking everything so far. But anyway, back to what I was saying. It's just been really relaxing to draw every week. And I will put out the completed piece of this on Instagram so that you can see it. I do pretend to say goodbye later because I think that I'm done, but it didn't seem as Halloween-y as I wanted before, so I added some extra detail at the end, and then I said goodbye. But you'll see that later. And yeah, I'm just really happy with this piece while I'm doing it, and while I make any art, I'm also like watching something or listening to something at the same time. So during this, I was watching Damien Haas on Twitch. He was streaming some like Phasmophobia, a spooky game where you look for ghosts and determine the type of ghoul or ghost they are. So that was fun to watch and kind of put me in the Halloween mood. And I also listened to a calming and relaxing mix on Spotify, which was really nice. Listened to some Beepa Doobie, Magdalena Bay, some Lorde. That was good. I'm listening to some new music. And I'm finishing up the night sky here. It's like, I'm not really a big fan of like putting lighting and like shadows in my artwork. So I end up not doing any of that, but I did want to add a little extra detail of the stars. So it does look more like they're in the nighttime. Anyway, we are going to keep on going. I'm adding all this detail in. I took a little break in between to let my camera battery charge? And I just took like 10-15 minutes to draft all the little details out, so I had them ready for when I could record again. And yeah, speaking of camera, I am really proud of this lighting and like the setup and the focus. It just looks really good. So I'm really proud of it. Alrighty. Just outlining. I really love like outlining a wood texture. So that was really nice. I just added that in because why not? And then this is the big dark door. I like to imagine like it's a really heavy, like real wooden door. Because this lady's rich. She's got it good in this house. I'm jealous. But it's also an empty house because I didn't want to add any detail behind her. I was not lazy. It just doesn't really matter like what's behind her. But you know when you're a kid and you're trick-or-treating and the adult like opens their door and then you see their whole life behind them and you see like their husband on the couch and their like dog is like running towards you and you see like their house is like weirdly a mess, but it makes sense because everything is just in place. Maybe I don't know. I think that's a classic kid memory, just looking inside people's apartments and houses. And then as an older person now, 26, I've gone with my little cousins and baby cousins to go to Halloween the past couple years, and you just watch them and other little kids like bolt into the house for whatever reason. I don't know why they do that. Oh my gosh, I love this cat. It's so cute. And we're almost done with this. Here's the point where I think that I'm done. But then I'm just like, these cats, they're just holding little bags. What are they getting? I forgot, because before I finished this, I didn't add any of the candy inside of the bowl, so I had to fix it up. And then I just add little decorations on their little bags. Unicorn, jack-o'-lantern, little creepy thing. And oh yeah, time skip. I was like, dang, this is actually not as good as I want it to be. I want it to be more Halloween-y, and so I added more decorations. I added some decorations on her little door, some ghosts and jack-o'-lanterns, and then a big pumpkin on the side near the steps. And then, of course, like I said, I completely forgot to put candy in the bowl, but I didn't want to draw it out, so this is the candy, multicolored. Very nice. Yep. And then I think I'm done again, but then I analyze and I see a bunch of weird stray marks and I have to erase them, which I'll do in a second. Oh, I add some decoration to the bowl as well, which now it looks like a salsa bowl or something, but it's okay. Oh yeah, Let's see. I think it's there. I think it's when I'm touching the side that I end up drawing and I catch it right about here. And I'm like, oh, what the heck? Luckily, it was on the layer that I was just on, so I just erase it. And it is done. I will upload this on Instagram. See you. Bye.